Guys, hello and welcome to the Liberian TV network. We are right here. We're in district number 9, representing Honorable Saah Foko to address the press on critical national issues. Keep posted as we bring you details, information in regards to what is happening. I'm Francis Getty. Keep on coming to you live. You can like, share, comment on our Facebook and YouTube channel.
Thank you. Good afternoon to the media and our listening audience in and out of Liberia. I would say a very good time to Honorable J. the Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, Republic of Liberia. And I also want to take this time to recognize and appreciate the people of Electoral District number 9, Mosorado County. Today, we call this press conference to basically speak on issues affecting our country, Liberia. And we also came here today to inform the world about what should be expected through the bad governance practices by the Unity Party-led government under the stewardship of Mr. Joseph Yuma Boaka Sr. and his deputy Jeremiah Koung. Basically, as a government, what was expected when you took over as a government, we as Liberians expected you as the president of this country after election to have unified the country, bring us together as citizens after elections. But instead, you begin by dividing this country, by doing unconstitutional things, making unconstitutional decisions, violating the rights of Liberians who had their tenure positions. You begin by violating their rights. We spoke about this, and we saw this as a bad beginning. Howbeit, we are on record of speaking against those very bad practices from your government, Mr. Boaka. What we taught in good governance, you have come after reconciling the country, you have put us together as a country. And Mr. President, we thought you have made available your national development plans. Because during the campaign, what we have realized that the Liberian people emotionally voted for you on the basis of those different false rhetorics, propagandas, lies that were given to the Liberian people. Mr. President, you and your campaign team make Liberians in and out of Liberia and our international partners to have believed that you have the fundamental understanding to good governance. And you made a word to have believed that you have transformed Liberia politically, administratively, developmental-wise. But what we saw in the beginning of your leadership was abuse of power, bad governance, and arrogance. And we think, Mr. President, we have reached the stage to cross the line and tell you, hey, Mr. President, this is your bus stop. And you will not cross here after tomorrow, Tuesday, Mr. President. We will not sit in this country and allow you, Mr. Joseph Yumabwaka, to abuse the laws of our country. You and your Vice President, Mr. President, this is the end of your act of violating the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. We will stand up to you in the right way. We will stand up to you through the rules of law. We will stand up with you constitutionally in making sure that the wrong thing is not done by your administration. Mr. President, we have gone a year. You have failed to tell us your agenda. So, Mr. President, to run a government without an agenda, we want to tell you this is not your horse you are running. This is not your hometown school, Wasonga. This is not Wasonga Elementary School you are running. This is not the water company that is owned by your wife that you are running in your house, but you are now running the Republic of Liberia. You are managing the affairs of all Liberians, including me, Saah Foko Jr., as the representative. Mr. President, you make us to believe, most especially for my generation, the young people, you make the young people of Liberia to believe that there was going to be enough job creation under your stewardship. Mr. President, you have never shown a sign of hope to the young people of this country. So as a young man representing my district and the young people of the Republic of Liberia, I am here to stand up for the young people of Liberia. I'm not necessarily interested in how you think about this, because this is not about you, Mr. President. This is not about your son, Joseph Nyuma Bwaka Jr. This is not about your son, Tama Bwaka Jr., which is referred to as Tanta, that is known to run a ghetto next door to your house, for which you have played low on the kush, the drugs in our country, that you promised the young people that you are going to fight drugs, but because your son is one of the biggest distributor of drugs in Liberia, who is running a nightclub adjacent your house, because of that, you have compromised the fight against drugs in Liberia. So, Mr. President, it's about time that our friend Saah Foko Jr. and many other young people to stand up. It's about time that we stand up constitutionally in making sure that the needful is done. Mr. President, you have failed to create jobs for the Liberian people. You have failed to establish the foundation in your administration that will give hope to our generation that our tomorrow will be better than yesterday. But you have made us to believe that our yesterday was better than what you have started today. Mr. President, you made some promises with your government, and you informed the Liberian people through the same caricature practices you started during your election period. Mr. President, this is not time for lecture. This is no time for propaganda. You can lie to come to power, but you cannot lie to stay in power. Mr. President, you promised the Liberian people that HPX was going to get involved with a $700 million deal. Mr. President, we yet to hear from you. Where are we on the $700 million HPS deal? That is not a magic. We knew that it was not a magic. but yet you make us to believe that you will perform miracle. Mr. President, we yet to hear from you, and because of this, we will stand up as people. Mr. President, you spoke to us from the onset of your leadership on the 500 million industrial park that we're going to be built by some partners from China. Mr. President, we have investigated and we realized that that was just a propaganda. It was misleading. You misled our generation. You make us to be happy with what is not possible. So, Mr. President, the young people of Liberia, we will stand up beginning tomorrow. Mr. President, you went to China and you failed on all of your arrangements in China. And you came back to Liberia in order to give us news because we were desperately happy to be better. So you told us that you signed a $30 billion oil refinery arrangement that is to be constructed in Grand Bassel. Mr. President, for some of us who are informed on how these processes go on, we knew that it was not a serious thing. We knew that you were not determined about that. We knew that you were not honest to the Liberian people, but we thought to give you the benefit of the doubt to convince the Liberian people. Mr. President, as we speak to you, you brought to us 285 machine promises. You promised us on the 285 machine different promises you came with. Mr. President, those machines were discussion that went on with people and you from your office. And Mr. President, you were attempting, you and your government, you people were attempting to have caricatured the country with over 48 million United States dollars. As some of us that were far-sighted, we flagged these issues, and our Liberian people got to understand that yes, indeed, we wanted machines for development. Yes, indeed, our roads in the country, our different roads are very bad, but we did not want these development in a bad way that will have a negative trickle-down effect on the lives of our generation and the next generation to come. So, Mr. President, because of these failed promises, and what are some of these problems that these things will cause, Mr. President? Since you started your leadership, you have been abusing the laws of Liberia. And what are some of the effects your attitude or your actions through your leadership will cause to Liberia? It will actually discourage investors. You have traveled over 15, 20 times, I stand to be corrected, in the name of reaching out to investors. And some weeks back, I saw you on the telephone with a billionaire that you were coming to transform Liberia and take all of the horses from here and bring new horses from Europe to Liberia. Mr. President, with this attitude, this barbaric attitude, Mr. President, no investor will want to come to a country where the people of that country, most especially the government, does not respect the rule of law. Mr. President, we knew that you don't mean business for the Liberian people. So because of that, it's about time that we stand up to doing the right thing. As representative of electoral district number 9, Masterminds County, an ardent supporter of Honorable J. Funati Kofa, Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, I feel compelled to publicly address these grave issues that is undermining the integrity of our institution, that is the House of Representatives, for which, Mr. President, from the conversation of your Vice President last night on Spoon FM, has clearly shown to the entire world that the executive is involved and has unnecessarily interfered with the businesses at the House of Representatives, which is not right, which is unlawful, and we think, Mr. President, it's about time that we stand up to tell you that what you are doing is not right. President Broka's actions threaten to destabilize the very foundation of our democracy. And I believe it is critical to stand firm against such unconstitutional behavior. One of the most alarming moves by President Bouaka has been his attempt to interfere with the legislative branch, particularly his efforts to orchestrate the removal of J. Funati Kofa. Mr. President, there are issues at the legislature, but you have decided to get involved, and not just to get involved, but to destabilize the peace of this country. So, Mr. President, we're going to stand up to you as a required to that. Mr. President, you went on by submitting the budget to an unconstitutional body. Some group of men or members of the legislature claim to have issues. But at the legislature, there are laws. The legislature is also governed by the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. But Mr. President, you have ignored the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, and you have decided to intentionally do business with that body. And we think, Mr. President, you are in error because of that, Mr. President. I can assure you, the fact that you have unnecessarily decided to interfere, to interrupt with the businesses of the Liberian people at the first branch of government, we are also going to tell you, Mr. President, tomorrow we're going to stand up to you and we inform you that you are not above the laws of the Republic of Liberia. As a representative of the people, I cannot remain silent, Mr. President, in the face of such blatant abuse of power. President Bouaka conducts, Mr. President, conduct at the legislature is discouraging, is disappointing, and we believe in our mind, our consciences will not serve us right, and history will remember us on a bad note in allowing President Bouaka to allow these things happen in Liberia. So, Mr. President, I'm officially informing you today that beginning tomorrow, our friend Saah Foko Jr. will stand up to you constitutionally, legally. We stand up to you to make sure that we don't enter 2025 with said barbaric behavior. In light of this troubling development, I am compelled to call on our Speaker, Honorable J. Funati Kofa. I am compelled to call on my boss, the Speaker, for what I have seen in recent time. Mr. Kofa, your life has been threatened. Your life is still threatened. The President has requested for the securities that are assigned to you. He has withdrawn the EPS who are assigned to you. Your security as the Speaker of this country is at stake. I stand to be corrected, Honorable Speaker, for the sake of your life and the lives of your family members, your children, your wife. Mr. Speaker, this President does not love you. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, this President wants to take away your life. Mr. Speaker, this President wants to disgrace and undermine your leadership, for which he has shown over the time where he just mandated you to resign because you stood up and said, Mr. President, the right thing should happen. The President instructed and wrote a statement that was read by the Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia. Mr. President and Mr. Speaker, I am kindly asking you, if it is true that your wife still works at JFK, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking you, can you please ask your wife to resign as a sign of protest to this wicked government, to tell this president your wife cannot be working and serving the Liberian people under her will and pleasure? At the same time, this man wants to destroy your life. This man could begin by destroying your life. He could begin by doing that to your wife. Mr. President, the life of your wife is no longer safe under the leadership. If she has resigned, congratulations to you, our mother, and I'm proud of that. If you have not resigned and you're thinking of resigning, because I overheard that, I will ask you to please honorably resign. You cannot be working with Mr. Boaka, who wants to kill your husband. We are asking you, Mama, for the sake of your life, for the sake of your children, for the sake of the Liberian people, I ask that you please resign. It's a choice, and you can take on to that, because this man wants to kill your husband. For the fact that this man can withdraw the security from your husband, he is after the life of your husband. As our dear mother, how much we love you, how much you take care of us when we go around, we are asking you to do the honorable thing to save your life and save your husband's life. The decision to make this request is not one that is likely. We will not take this lightly, and we appreciate when you to make that decision to resign from Boaka's administration if you have not done so. We cannot allow personal or partisan interest take over our judiciary system. So what we are saying here, Boaka, you are unnecessarily interfering with the judiciary system. Tomorrow, our friend Saah Foko Jr., who was elected by the people of Electoral District Number 9, Masterminds County, will be going to do the Liberian people job at Capitol Building on Capitol Hill, opposite the Executive Mansion. I am calling the attention of the international community. I am calling the attention of the Liberian Council of Churches. I am calling the attention of the Muslim Council of the Republic of Liberia, Chief Imam Krai. I am calling your attention. The Liberian Council of Churches, the student community, I am calling everyone attention that our friend Saah Foko Jr. will be going on Capitol Hill tomorrow, and I will be accompanied by residents of Electoral District Number 9, well-wishers and supporters. We will be on Capitol Hill tomorrow morning to go and do the people's job. At which time, I will use the main route. I will not drive to go to work tomorrow. I will walk from Lakbasi community to Capitol Building with my mothers, with my fathers, the elders of the community. The young people are angry and they want me to go and do their job. Based on the instruction, I am going tomorrow to do the people's job. International community, any attempt by Boaka and his surrogates, any attempt to resist our friend Saah Foko Jr. from going to do the people's job tomorrow, I can assure you that there will be resistance. Tomorrow, there will be resistance by anyone who attempt to resist me from going to do the people's job. This action, it is not time. This barbaric attitude calls for action. It's no time for theory. We are tired with theory, and we're going to be moving into action tomorrow to go and do the people's job. We will marshal the forces into history, on the right side of history tomorrow. We're going to be on the right side of history constitutionally, and what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to marshal the forces constitutionally at Capitol Building in making sure that the people of Electoral District Number 9 are listened to, and it's about time that we do doing the people's job. And my route that's going to be used tomorrow, I'm going to use a route, enter the Capitol building, and I'm going to march through the John Timor because my office is next door to the John Timor. And I'm going to pass through the John Timor tomorrow to go to my regular Timor. I'm informing you of what will happen tomorrow. I'm telling the international community. I'm telling the Liberian councils of churches. I'm telling the Muslim community. I'm telling the student community, the women of Liberia, our mothers. We are telling you that President Mr. Bouaka, has failed to respect the laws of this country. But we will not behave like Mr. Bouaka to disrespect the law. All of our actions beginning tomorrow will be constitutional, will respect the laws, but will make sure that all of those barbaric behavior stop immediately tomorrow. We say thank you to the people of District Number 9. We say thank you to the people of Liberia, as I will be moving with not less than 10,000 people tomorrow from District Number 9 on Capitol Hill. And I will move with my people from the district. The churches will join me tomorrow. The mosques will join me tomorrow. The students will join me tomorrow. The people of District Number 9 will join me tomorrow. Mr. President, I can assure you, any attempt to unnecessarily interfere with my movement, there will be a peaceful, respectful, and legal resistance. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the press. So that was the address from Representative Saah Foko Jr., Representative Monterado County District Number 9. We are going to be taking 5 questions, and 3 males, 2 females. We're going to be taking 5 questions.
Yes. Thank you so much. My name is Archie Brown, and I report for today Liberian television. Honorable Foko, there are statements that you have made that right now is causing controversy in the media landscape, in fact, the political reform of Liberia. What grounds are you going at the Capitol building for the fact that for the past years you have been at Capitol buildings working as a lawmaker, you have never carried residents of District now, and tomorrow you are, saying that you will carry all of the supporters on Capitol ground. On what grounds are they going?
I'm sorry, I think you just got involved with journalism, but I have been going on Capitol ground with my people. The churches in the district have reached out to me. The young people in the district, they have suspected things are not happening. So tomorrow, they have instructed me that they will accompany me to work. Who am I to deny the decision of the people who voted me into power? So it's not a big deal. We are the people's deputy. If the people instruct us, we act in accordance with what the people ask us for.
So thank you, Honorable Foko. My name is Elijah Pine, and I report for Fortune Television. As it relates to happenings at Capitol building, of recent, majority bloc suspended 4 lawmakers, according to them, from the volunteer angle. You guys, that includes you. It's on that basis for which you are fighting of going to the Capitol building, calling on all of the international community, including civil societies.
I did not want to mention what you just spoke about that has to do with suspension. And you see that I'm relaxed. As far as I'm concerned, to suspend me, there are rules, there are laws. So if J. Funati Kofa wants to suspend me, there are processes that leads to that. We got Rule 46, we got Rule 47, and we got all of those different rules that speak to that. So if J. Funati Kofa wants to suspend me or any other member from the legislature, there are processes. But if you say majority black suspended me, if Rachel Koung suspend me for not going to a horse, Rachel Koung will not go to a horse in Banaville no more. If Thomas Fala say I shouldn't go to a horse in Johnsonville, Thomas Fala will not go to a horse to eat Obogiria in Johnsonville. But Rachel Koung, you call him a majority black? I don't know when you call majority black to suspend somebody. So as far as I'm concerned, there has been no suspension by Funati Kofa. And I'm going to work with my citizens. Some of my people have not seen Capitol building. They will go and see it. You were there the other time, early January, my people joined me in Capitol building. The other time in May, my birthday, you saw the people were on Capitol Hill. And this is December, and people joining me in Capitol Building again. And we march from here and moving with not less than 10,000 people at Capitol Building tomorrow.
Thank you, Honorable Foko. I'm from TNS America. We listened to the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia on Spoon TV saying that Councilor J. Funati Over initiated a conversation with the President to discuss plans on his resignation. He gave at least 3 counts. One, to reinstate those that were suspended from a committee and those lawmakers that were also suspended following that conversation. What can you say about that?
So basically, the president, I listened to Mr. Jeremiah Koung last night. I was not listening to that until I got mentioned by one of my friends under the live, and I went there to see what Jeremiah Koung said. And what Jeremiah Koung did last night was he brought the presidency to public ridicule. He undermined the presidency, and this should tell Bwaka that Bwaka should be very careful with Koung. Koung is too desperate to be president in this country. How can you be a 1-year-old vice president and you are so desperate to be a president of this country? How can you disclose the president's secret meeting that was just denied by the press secretary? Kula Fofana just denied that the president did not have meeting with Funati Kofa. How can the vice president now come to tell us that indeed this meeting was held at his residence, at the president's residence, and say what we are saying? Jeremiah Koung was looking for public attention, but God used him unknown to himself to expose his hands into this matter. And Jeremiah Koung thinks that he is the God of this country. We will tell Jeremiah Koung and Thomas Farah that this country is not owned by that cartel. Anything you want to do in this country will be done legally. That budget cartel, there's a budget cartel, and that cartel will be destroyed. And that cartel, we will expose every bit and pieces to the Liberian people at the appropriate time.
It's a budget cartel?
Yeah, there's a budget cartel. We'll be naming the cartel tomorrow on Capitol Building, the budget cartel. But Jeremiah Koung, desperation to be president 2029, he wants to kill everybody in the country to be president. But we can assure Jeremiah Koung, you have the constitutional right to contest to be president, but you should respect the laws of this country. You can't kill everybody. And this country will not point, Jeremiah Koung. For your business, the country will not point. We will make sure we protect the laws of this country. So Jeremiah Koung appearance on Spoon FM last night just exposed the Unity Party-led government on orthodox behavior in the legislature.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Sally and I report for VENMO TV. Yeah, so many are concerned. You spoke strongly against the son of the vice president.
Yes.
To be more precise, Tantan.
Bwaka.
And many are concerned of your oversight responsibility. You are in the corridor of the legislature. You have power to call on the Director General of the LDA. And many are concerned why you speaking, people are posting. Why are you not using your oversight responsibilities?
So this is the kind of government that Bwaka brought to us. He brought a government where our laws should be disrespected. We have done that. We have invited them, but Mr. Bwaka has made Liberia to believe that his children are untouchable. They can break the laws of this country and nothing will happen, because even him, Bwaka, is also breaking the laws of this country. So we have done that. We are still doing it, but what we came to do here today is to inform the Liberian people about those things that some of them are not aware of. But the entire Rehab community is aware that they sell kush adjacent Bwaka's house.
I'm Francis Kedi Kopo, I report for the Liberian TV network. So, many have been concerned with regards to your assertion that the United Party government doesn't have a strategic plan to actually run her government. People are concerned. How can you reconcile of recent, at most, within 2 weeks, there was an adaptation that was done at the ministerial complex, wherein cabinet ministers, directors were there to actually adapt a strategy plan for 5 years. And also, tomorrow is a day that doesn't reach, and that was once said by Socrates, and you kept saying tomorrow. Can you be a bit specific and definite as to what is tomorrow?
So basically, you just said they went to adapt. Have they adapted? Have they presented it to the Liberian people? Did they adapt it for themselves? You need to craft the national development plan that speaks of infrastructure, that speaks of health, that speaks of education, that speaks of human development. I mean, that just speaks of job creation and speaks of love. So what we are saying here, what you have in your house that you have not disclosed or distribute to the people you represent is not a plan. So until that plan, do you have the plan? As a journalist, it was crafted, it was adapted. Do you have it?
I think it's a rhetorical question.
Do you have it?
It's a rhetorical question.
Oh, okay. You don't have it. So you, who the journalist are supposed to carry it, you don't have it. I, who the representative, how do I have it? I don't have it, and no other Liberian, is in possession of that plan.
So we'll take the last question.
Thank you. I'm Domingo Dawe, I write for the People's Newspaper. Honorable Foko, I'm much more concerned about your build of the lawsuit against the current Chief Justice, not the Chief Justice, but the Justice Minister, Councillor for 12, at the Supreme Court for misinterpreting the Supreme Court ruling in the whole saga. How far are we with that case?
So, I filed in a complaint, and I respect our judicial branch. I respect them a whole lot. They are doing a very good job. They have refused to succumb their decision to the will and pleasure of the executive branch. I truly hail them. They are doing a very good job. I filed in a complaint, and that complaint now should be with grievance and ethics. So the process is on. And that man misinterpreted the Supreme Court ruling. And there are consequences that comes with that. So I gave you a week or two from now, that man will either resign, there will be a very harsh decision towards that guy. He's under pressure now by some of our international partners. He's under pressure. The government is under pressure for what the Justice Minister did. What he did had a propensity to cause problems in this country. But thank God that we Liberians, we are resilient. We Liberians, we are very civilized. We Liberians, we are tired with trouble. This is why the People's Deputy, Saah Foko Jr., decided to handle this issue the right way in the best interest of the peace of this country.
Tomorrow's definition.
Tomorrow's definition?
Yeah.
I said tomorrow I am marching on Capitol Hill to go do the people's job, and I will be accompanied with not less than 10,000 people.
Tomorrow's could be any day.
Chief, tomorrow, today is Monday, the 16th, and tomorrow is the 17th of December 2024.
Are you in support
No other
of the
questions.
CDC
Thank
you so much.
protest on tomorrow?
Chief, I'm not going to protest. I am going on Capitol Hill, and I will be accompanied by my people. And another information comes January, when the president comes to the legislature to report to the Liberian people, I can assure Mr. Bwaga that Speaker J. Fonati Kofa will be present, and he will be seated in a chair to preside over the legislature. Any attempt, Mr. President, our international committee, please take note on this, because they will be sending you invitation very soon to come to the legislature. Anything other than Fonati presiding, there will be no presentation by the President of the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
So guys, that was the voice of Honorable Frank Saah Foko, District Number 9 representative. We are right here in District 9. I'm Francis Kediko coming to you live. You can like, share, and comment on our Facebook and YouTube channel.